People often say, "A father should provide." Simple words, yet they have carried countless fathers across impossible journeys. So many fathers leave home. They cross rivers, they cross deserts, they cross oceans. Not because love has grown cold, but because love has become a responsibility. Every goodbye hides a promise. Every departure carries a prayer. Every lonely night whispers the same hope. May my children have a better tomorrow. This is one of those stories. The story of Obunakweze and the immigrant. Every Monday morning, before the factory found its rhythm, before the first truck rolled through the gate, before the first block was lifted from the ground, Obunakweze was already there. Walking through his block industry with calm confidence, greeting every worker, inspecting every block, making sure another honest day's work would begin the right way. To Obunakweze, building materials were more than business. They were the foundations of someone's future home. Then, one Monday morning, something unusual happened. A quiet young man appeared at the factory gate. He carried a worn backpack. His clothes were neat. His shoes were tired. And his eyes carried the weight of many sleepless nights. There are people whose stories arrive before their voices. He was one of them. His name was Chinedu, but everyone simply called him the immigrant. He had just returned to Nigeria after spending several years working abroad. Now, he stood quietly before Obunakweze, looking for nothing more than honest work. "Sir, I came to ask if there is any work I can do." Obunakweze looked at him carefully, not with suspicion, but with understanding. "You worked overseas? So why are you looking for work here?" The young man smiled. It was not the smile of a man who had found happiness. It was the smile of someone who had learned to hide pain behind hope. And in that quiet smile, a story was waiting to be told. Days quietly became weeks. Weeks quietly became months. Some people introduce themselves with words. Others allow their character to speak long before they do. The immigrant became the first to arrive at the factory every morning. Before the sun had fully stretched across the sky, he was already carrying blocks, loading trucks, helping wherever he was needed. When the whistle announced the end of the day's work, most workers happily returned home. But the immigrant always found one more thing to do, one more block to arrange, one more wheelbarrow to push, one more helping hand to offer. He never complained. He never wasted food. He never spent unnecessary money. To everyone at the factory, he was simply a hard-working young man. But Obunakweze knew hard work often hides a deeper story. Then, one quiet afternoon, the factory rested beneath the generous shade of an old mango tree. Lunchboxes opened, friends laughed together, stories traveled from one bench to another. For a brief moment, the noise of work gave way to the comfort of friendship. Everyone rested together, everyone except one man. A little distance away, the immigrant sat alone. His lunch remained untouched. His eyes were fixed on the screen of his phone. It was not a message. It was not a video. It was an old family photograph. The same photograph he carried everywhere he went. He looked at it quietly. A gentle smile appeared, the kind of smile only beautiful memories can create. Then, almost without warning, a tear slowly escaped his eye. It rolled gently across his cheek before disappearing into the dust beneath him. No words, no sobbing, just one silent tear, carrying the weight of many years. From where he sat, Obunakweze noticed. Wisdom has a way of seeing what busy eyes often miss. Without saying anything, he stood up, picked up his chair, and walked slowly toward the young man. He did not interrupt him. He did not ask questions immediately. He simply sat beside him. Sometimes the greatest comfort is someone's quiet presence. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Only the gentle afternoon breeze moved through the leaves above them. Then Obunakweze smiled. "My son. Who are they?" The immigrant looked down at the photograph once more. His smile returned. This time, it carried both love and longing. "They are my wife and my children." Obunakweze looked carefully at the picture, then back at the young man. His face became thoughtful. "So, why are they not here with you?" The immigrant slowly lifted his eyes toward the sky, as though searching for the right words among the clouds. Then he answered softly, "I left home to build a better future." And in those few words, Obunakweze heard a story far greater than he had imagined. The afternoon breeze grew quieter. The laughter beneath the mango tree slowly faded. Two men remained seated. One, listening. The other, searching for the courage to continue. The immigrant lowered his eyes. The old photograph rested gently in his hands. For a brief moment, he simply looked at it, as though every memory was asking permission to be spoken aloud. Then, he finally opened his heart. "My daughter. I missed her first words. My son. I missed his first football match." He smiled sadly. Not because those memories were beautiful, but because he had only seen them through the small screen of a phone. I missed birthdays. I missed Christmas. I even missed Father's Day. Every celebration came and went. Every candle was blown out. Every family photograph grew bigger. And every year, he was somewhere else, working, hoping, waiting. I kept telling myself, next year. But Next year kept moving. His voice became softer, almost a whisper. They have a father, but they grew up without one. Those words remained in the air, heavy, painful, honest. For the first time, Obunakweze truly understood. The young man sitting beside him had not abandoned his family. He had sacrificed moments so they could have opportunities. He had provided for their future while quietly losing their present. No father dreams of missing his child's first smile. No father celebrates missing birthdays. No father enjoys eating alone while his family gathers around another table. Obunakweze looked at him with compassion, not as an employer, not as a businessman, but as one father looking into the heart of another. He placed a gentle hand on the young man's shoulder. "My son, there are burdens only fathers understand. You left home, not because you loved your children less. You left because you loved them more. But remember this, a child may one day forget the price of a school uniform. They may forget how much money was sent home, but they will never forget the sound of their father's voice." The immigrant slowly lifted his head. Hope quietly returned to his eyes. Not because yesterday had changed, but because tomorrow still belonged to him. From that moment, one decision quietly took root in his heart. A decision that would soon bring healing to a family. One phone call at a time. Sometimes, the longest distance between two hearts is only waiting for someone to make the first call.
The following Sunday, the whole community gathered to celebrate Father's Day. Children held tightly to their father's hands. Families laughed together. Photographs captured beautiful memories. Joy filled the air. Every smile carried a story. Every embrace carried a memory. Every father carried a journey, known only to him. Not far away, the immigrant stood quietly by himself, watching, smiling, trying not to let the tears escape. He was happy for every father.
Happy for every child. Yet deep inside, he wondered what his own children were doing at that very moment. Obunakweze noticed. A wise man rarely misses what the eyes are trying to hide. He walked quietly toward the immigrant, placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "My son, a good father is not measured only by the money he sends home. A good father is measured by the love he never stops carrying." The immigrant lowered his head. "But sir, how do I get back the years I lost?" Obunakweze smiled. "You cannot change yesterday. But your children are still waiting for tomorrow. Those words settled quietly inside the young man's heart, like rain falling on dry ground. That evening, the immigrant sat quietly after another day's work. His body was tired, but his heart refused to sleep. He reached into his pocket, looked once more at the family photograph he carried every day. Then, without another thought, he pressed the call button. Far away, inside a modest family home, 4 little children sat around the same table. Their school books lay open before them. One read aloud. Another followed carefully. The youngest listened closely, trying to keep up. Behind them, their mother quietly prepared the evening meal. The gentle sound of cooking blended beautifully with the voices of children learning. Then, the family phone, resting on the same table, began to ring. Once, twice, 3 times. Silence. The reading stopped. 4 little faces slowly turned toward the phone. Even their mother paused. The spoon rested quietly above the pot. The whole room became still. Little Chiamaka looked at the screen. Her tiny eyes suddenly sparkled. Her face blossomed into the brightest smile. Almost in a whisper, she said, "Daddy." The other children gathered around immediately. Books forgotten, homework forgotten. Everything else could wait, because Daddy was calling. Chiamaka gently answered, "Hello, Daddy." On the other side of the phone, the immigrant heard the little voice he had missed for so many years. He tried to speak, but the words refused to come. Only tears. Years of sacrifice. Years of loneliness. Years of missing birthdays, missing Christmas, missing Father's Day, flowed silently from his eyes. A father cries, not because he is weak, but because love has finally found its voice. He smiled through the tears, then whispered, "My daughter, Daddy is here." A few days later, business at Obunakwesi Enterprise continued as usual. Customers came. Workers loaded blocks. Another honest day's work slowly came to an end. The last customer smiled, thanked Obunakwesi, and drove away. Obunakwesi watched him leave, then smiled quietly to himself. I should check on my son. He reached into his pocket, picked up his phone, found one familiar number, and made the call. Back at the family house, the children were together once again. The family phone rang. Little Chiamaka answered happily. "Hello, Uncle." "My daughter, how are you today?" "I'm fine, Uncle." "And your daddy?" "Daddy is sleeping." Obunakwesi laughed softly. "So your daddy has finally remembered how to sleep?" "Yes, Uncle. He is very tired." "Can you please wake him for me? I'd like to speak with him." No, Uncle. I'm not waking Daddy. He needs to rest. Obunakwezi smiled. Children always know how to protect the people they love. My daughter.
That's all right. Please call Chisindi for me. I want to continue the conversation with my daughter. Chiamaka turned happily.
Chisindi! Chisindi! Your daddy is calling! Come quickly! Come quickly!
Tiny footsteps filled the house. A joyful little voice answered from inside.
I'm coming!
And somewhere, Obunakweze smiled. Because sometimes, the greatest Father's Day gift is not what we give. It is knowing that love still answers when it calls. A father may build a house with his hands, but he builds a family with his presence. For the fathers, to every father carrying burdens no one sees, to every child waiting for one more phone call, and to every family choosing love one conversation at a time.